It's normal in anime. Essay is normal in anime. What anime are y'all watching? No, like seriously, what are you watching? Because I've been watching anime since Naruto iPods on Google Video. So what have you been watching? Because it's honestly giving hentai addict. Hello, my name is Hopi Kage. It's Hopi like J-Hope and Kage like Hokage. And I actually like Dandadan. I think Dandadan is pretty good for a show. It's fun. And I'll talk about that towards the end of the video. But right now, I feel it on my heart that I need to talk about the issues with Dandadan. Pause. When I say the issues of Dandadan, I really mean my issues with Dandadan. This video is my opinion, my hot takes, so if you don't agree, that's fine. Just enjoy. Since its release, Dandadan has grown in popularity thanks to its quirky plot and lovable cast of characters. But with all of this positive praise has come some very valid criticisms. Before we dive deeper into this video, I do want to give a heads up. I am on episode 5 of Dandadan, and I have read a little bit of the manga, maybe to episode 7 or 8. So if you're worried about spoilers, you probably won't be spoiled by what I'm going to say. As for a content warning or trigger warning, this is the content warning / trigger warning for the video. Viewer discretion is advised. I want to talk about something I learned day 1 of film school. In fact, I learned this day 1 of high school film school, and it was repeated when I went to film college, university, whatever you want to call it. Either way, it was a waste of money. Don't do it. Any teacher whose job it is to teach you how to tell stories is going to tell you to show, not tell. Show, not tell. Don't tell me this character is sad and depressed. Show me by showing that she hasn't gotten out of bed for 3 days, that her skin is dry because she hasn't showered. Show, don't tell. That is the rule for storytelling, unless it is violence, nudity, and in conjunction with those two, assault, because that is both violent and nudity. It doesn't actually add to the plot. And people are going to be like, yes, it does. It helps the world. But no, it doesn't, Pookie. Prime example, Bridgerton. Every single sex scene in Bridgerton is not necessary. Take away the sex scenes in Bridgerton, it's the exact same story. In Game of Thrones, there's a scene where a character gets molten gold poured on their head, and that's a creative way to kill someone, okay? A for effort or A for creativity, but you didn't have to show me that. You could have showed the pot of gold, showed the fear on the character, and then cut to another person's reaction, and it would have been the exact same story. So everything I just said backs up the idea that violence, nudity, and assault are things that don't actually have to be shown. So now, since we're agreeing that they don't have to be shown, we have to wonder, why the heck were they shown? Now, we know it wasn't filler because it actually comes back up later in the story. So you're telling me that you showed a high school girl having her clothes torn off for fan service? That's an issue. That's weird. That's really weird. And there's no way around that. Another issue with SA is that it's usually incorporated in the story just for a male character to have a bit of growth, to see how the male character will react to his woman getting assaulted. Prime example, Kirito. In season 2 of Sword Art Online, Asuna gets tied up, assaulted. It's honestly giving hentai. It was very weird. And instead of the show being like, Asuna, how does that make you feel? What's going on with you on the inside? Are you scared? Are you frightened? How's this going to affect you? How are you going to live with the trauma? The question is, Kirito, how does this make you feel? Do you feel weak? Do you feel powerless? This ain't got nothing to do with Kirito. What are you talking about? If you're thinking this doesn't happen in Dandadan, you would be correct. It doesn't happen in the same way, but you still get that female character being assaulted. Male character shows up and has big emotions about her assault. And by no means am I saying that men cannot be upset when someone they care about is being harmed. What I am saying is that it's very weird that Okarun and Turbo Granny seem more upset and distraught over Miss Ayase being assaulted than Miss Ayase herself. It's one thing to show something that wasn't necessary, like a character being assaulted. It is another thing to have some evil that happens in real life happen to fictional characters and for there to be no repercussion, no lasting effect. That's an issue I have with the alien assault scene in Dandadan. Miss Ayase gets up and she's just like, how dare you do that to me? Yeah, I love a girl boss. I love that you got up and you fought your way out. I love that. Let's go see a therapist now. Let's go talk about this. Because that was really traumatic what just happened. And I feel like, considering this is a Shonen Jump series and it's being marketed to Shonen aged individuals, we should be showing that when these things happen, there are real world repercussions for it. Another thing we can talk about when it comes to the Dandadan alien SA scene is that it's comical. It's one thing to show someone getting assaulted and showing that there's no repercussion or lasting effect for it. It's another thing to show someone getting assaulted and to make it a joke. The comedic timing during the SA scenes, very intentional. There's a part where Miss Ayase is like, "Where are my clothes?" And the robot men are like, "Over there, we took good care of them." And it cuts to her clothes being shredded. And I would be lying if I said I didn't laugh. I actually paused and laughed. It was so out of the blue. Because why would they do that? Why would they be like, "Oh, we took care of your clothes," and then jump cut to them literally be shredded? And then it cuts back to them whipping out a chainsaw peener to assault her with. Honestly, I think the issue of Dandadan and the alien assault scene is that Dandadan confuses sexual comedy with sexual violence. I think you really have to look at how this scene was animated and the different shots they chose to include, because there's literally a scene where her legs are, or rather a frame, where her legs are in stirrups and you see it from like the alien's point of view. That is so freaking unnecessary. It reads like a hentai. It reads like a hentai. And if you want to do that in hentai, do it in hentai. But this is a Shonen Jump manga and a Netflix anime that had bare minimum trigger warnings. What the heck? I'm talking a lot about how sexual assault in anime is handled, and I feel like it would be appropriate to talk about some good examples of how it's handled in anime. And again, I'm really big on the tell, not show when it comes to these things. So these are the examples I'm giving. One of them being Banana Fish. Banana Fish is I think, 90s shojo, and the main character is quite literally a victim of CP who was trafficked as a child. He grows up. He has this working relationship with the person who pimped him out. Super dark, super scary. And at no point do they actually show him being assaulted. There's a scene where he gets pulled in by the cops, and instead of the cops helping him, the cops show a video of his CP. We, the viewers, don't see it. Instead, we get this wide shot that shows the police kind of being bigger in proportion than our main character who's sitting down in a chair. We're able to still get that exact same message without having to see the grotesqueness of it all. Is that a phrase? Is that a word? I'm not sure. Before the scene where the character is assaulted, Heavenly Delusion has this horrifying, slow build up. And we, the viewers, can really see it coming before our main character. And it's absolutely terrifying. And when it does happen, it is something that changes the character forever. It is not a joke. It is not fan service. If you're going to show, not tell, that would be the way to do it. But that's just my opinion. The shonen shojo debate is the next issue I have of Dandadan, and honestly, it's not so much as the show and the anime that I'm mad at, it's more like the fans. And if you're one of the people that say that fans can't ruin an anime for you, you have never been on Twitter. The shonen shoujo debate is this whole conversation about Dandadan and its proximity to shojo. People online are praising the mangaka's work, saying that he read 100 shojo or 100 romance manga, and that is why this story has such a great romance plot. The first thing I noticed was people using the word shojo and romance interchangeably. Those words are not synonyms. So I did some research and I found that yes, the author read 100 romance manga because he brought the draft to the editor, and the editor was like, "Dear God, this is the most dark, messed up thing I have ever read in my entire life. Please go learn how to get personal relationships and how to form them because this is insane." And another thing I want to point out is, why would he read 100 shojo if he's published under Shonen Jump? Why would you research the antithesis to your manga? For those who don't know, I will speed run the definitions of shonen, shoujo, josei, and seinen for you. Shoujo means young girls, shonen means young boys, josei means older girls, and seinen means older boys. So if a manga is published in a shoujo magazine, it becomes a shoujo. If the manga is published in a shonen magazine like Shonen Jump, then it's a shonen. No matter what the themes are, no matter how dark it is, no matter how messed up it is a shonen. That's just Bible. That's how the world works. Dandadan is published in Shonen Jump Plus, which makes it a shonen, and that means that its target demographic is going to be shonen-aged individuals. So within these demographics are genres like romance, action, comedy, adventure. Dandadan is a shonen romance, which means it is marketed towards boys and it is a romance. The thing that I have the most issue with is how people use shoujo to almost defend their favorite shonen. A lot of people are saying that because the mangaka, which is incorrect, had to read shoujo, this means Dandadan is good. And it's kind of wild because people will sit up on the internet all day long talking about how bad shoujo is and how they don't read shoujo. But the second their mangaka says they were inspired by shoujo or anything consumed by girls, then all of a sudden that mangaka becomes more validated. When Gege Akutami said that he based Gojo and Geto's relationship off of BL, people were like, yeah, you know what, this is how you know it's good. This is how you know it's good because it's based off of what? The thing you refuse to read? Y'all get why that's weird, right? I'm not tripping, am I? I can't be tripping. One last thing while we're on this topic, I think it is a major red flag for a mangaka to have to read over 100 romances to be able to write a good romance. What did you put out beforehand? How messed up was that for them to be like, you actually need to go back to school and do research? That is not a flex, guys. Reading 100? Oh my gosh, what did you write? I guess in his defense, he was an assistant, or rather he worked with Fujimoto on Chainsaw Man and Fire Punch. He also worked on Hell's Paradise. Maybe he did require a palate cleanse after those two stories. Those are my issues with Dandadan. I am done complaining about it. Let's talk about the things that I like about Dandadan. I love how simple it is. After JJK, after MHA, it is so nice to have something that isn't end of the world. And I'm saying that the day the presidential election is going on for America. So, you know, I would really love to watch something that isn't the end of the world. Another reason to like Dandadan is because they do kids right. I hate when I'm watching an anime and they're like, the main character is 16, and I look, and that is a 27-year-old grown man of a mortgage and a wife. What are you talking about? That's Pookie. We graduated high school together. That's not a kid. In episode 5, Miss Ayase is very mean to Okarun because everyone's watching and she's embarrassed and she's very mean to him. And it almost feels out of character, but if you go back and watch episode 1, you realize that's kind of what she does when she's stressed. And part of me is like, oh wow, this is such like a self-insert for like the nerdy loser boy who didn't get asked out in high school. But then I stopped and thought, and I was like, that's just kind of how high school kids are. High school kids will sometimes say like the meanest thing just because they're sad, scared, frightened, embarrassed. It's not necessarily a good trait. It's just an accurate one. Also, the way they fight and banter with one another, it's adorable. When they were in class and they couldn't focus because all they wanted to talk about was aliens and ghosts, the sequence where they kind of showed them in school running through the cafeterias and the hallways trying to find each other, and then they got all sad when they couldn't find each other. That's adorable. And we're not going to act like that wasn't. It is not often where you can find characters in these shonen series that actually act their age. But when you do, it is a gem. Now, I still don't like the way assault is handled in this series, but I did appreciate how Turbo Granny comes to the aid of the victims of assault. I think if the show didn't make such a mockery of assault in the beginning, then that could have been a good lesson or a good message to share, like spreading the importance of coming to victims' aid. That would have been nice, but it got overshadowed because the victims are victims of something that was seen as comedic earlier. Last but not least, the number one thing that just brought me into Dandadan that really made me stick it out is how gorgeous it is. When I'm watching Dandadan, it's like eye candy, eye candy, eye candy on repeat. The opening, that final frame in the opening where it's Okarun and Miss Ayase together. Oh my word, and their big brown eyes. It's so pretty. It's so freaking pretty. Dandadan's animation is also very unique. I like how Okarun's running is literally the running style from Devilman Crybaby. Right after the alien assault scene, there's a fight scene and it's like all in blue and red. The whole series is just dripping in creativity. At the end of the day, I'm gonna keep watching Dandadan. I won't read the manga, but I'm gonna keep watching it because it is so pretty. I do like the story. I love the main characters and it's fun. It is so hard to find a fun anime nowadays. If you like this video, don't forget to like the video. And if you see right here, I only need 400 more watch hours to be monetized fully on YouTube. So if you want to support this channel, you can watch this video right here. This is the video that YouTube thinks is best for you. Okay, I'm gonna assume you clicked the video. If you haven't, feel free to like this video and I would love to hear your thoughts on Dandadan in the comments below. That's all. I still don't know how to end a YouTube video, so we're just gonna end it here.